Stop. Stop everything. Stop scrolling. Stop whatever errand was tugging at the corner of your mind 10 seconds ago. Because what you are about to hear is going to permanently change the way you look at every magazine cover, every red carpet, every glossy paparazzi shot you have ever seen of them again. They hate her. They do not dislike her. They do not find her a little bit annoying. They do not just want her out of their business and out of their orbit. They hate her. And by they, I do not mean some scattered, jealous corner of the internet. I'm talking about the most powerful women in Hollywood, the wives of the most powerful men in Hollywood, the gatekeepers of the most coveted invitations in the world. Nicole Levant, the wife of Netflix boss Ted Sarandos. Anna Wintour, the immovable queen of Vogue. Lauren Sanchez, the new Mrs. Bezos, the entire Kardashian dynasty. Bella Baharia at Netflix. These are not minor players. These are women who can build a career with a single nod or end one with a single quiet phone call. And to a woman, they have turned. They have closed the door. They have stopped returning the calls. They have unfollowed, untagged, unliked, and uninvited. Welcome to Royal Report Daily, your most trusted source for breaking royal news and exclusive investigations. Tonight we are covering a story that is simultaneously happening on two continents, in two completely different worlds, producing one single unmistakable conclusion. The Sussex experiment is collapsing. And the speed of that collapse, and the precision of the forces closing in around it, is something we have never quite seen before. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Report Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single update. Now, before this story is over, I am going to walk you through exactly how the Hollywood collapse happened. I am going to give you the names. I am going to give you the moments. I am going to give you the precise insult that ended each relationship. And then I am going to pivot, because parallel to this Hollywood disaster, on the other side of the Atlantic, the British royal family is doing something extraordinary. Something so calm, so quiet, so devastatingly effective that by the time you understand what is actually happening, you will see why this is the moment the entire 7-year drama tilts permanently on its axis. So stay with me. Pour yourself a strong drink. Settle in. Because what is happening to Meghan Markle right now is not random. It is not a streak of bad luck. It is the slow, inevitable closing of a door. And I'm about to show you exactly how it is being closed, hinge by hinge. Stay tuned to Royal Report Daily. We bring you the stories that matter. Let me begin with the document that pulled the whole picture together. The Daily Mail's editor-at-large, Alison Boshoff, has just released the most scathing investigation we have seen all year into why the women of Hollywood have turned in lockstep against Meghan Markle. And the details are absolutely shocking. Start with this. Even though Meghan has plenty of fashion, ambitions, and fashion pretensions, and fashion is one of the revenue streams she is hoping will help fund the entire Montecito lifestyle, the pair have once again failed to secure an invitation to the Met Gala, the Met Gala, the most photographed evening in fashion. The single event Meghan Markle has been chasing for years. Refused. Refused twice in a row. And not just the Met Gala. The Montecito duo were also conspicuously absent from every single event during King Charles's recent state visit to the United States. The fundraisers, the dinners, the receptions, the garden parties, the entire week of British high society moving through American power. Empty chairs, crickets, nothing for the Sussexes. And as if to underline the persona non grata status, listen to this carefully, even Prince Harry's boyhood, friend Guy Pelly was at a White House garden party with his wife that same week. Yes, the same guy. Pelly, who was by Harry's side when he notoriously dressed up in that infamous Nazi costume at a fancy dress party back in 2005. Guy Pelly is in. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are out. Let that sit with you for a moment. The teenage tearaway photographed standing next to a future king in a swastika armband is now an acceptable face at the highest table in Washington. Then we have President Trump himself, who reinforced the entire Sussex unpopularity by remarking to the British journalist Robert Hardman that Harry had done too many things to come back to the fold of his family, before adding, and that wife of his, boy, what has she done to that guy? Read that line again. The President of the United States standing inside the Oval Office asking out loud what Meghan Markle has done to Prince Harry. When a president is publicly puzzling over the wreckage of your marriage. You have a problem that no Spotify deal can fix. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Royal Report Daily for more exclusive investigations. Now pay close attention to this next part, because this is where the Daily Mail report gets specific, and the picture turns from awkward to catastrophic. The source on this whole story describes it as one of wall-to-wall fallouts and alienation. Put simply, in the circles that actually matter, the circles where invitations get sent and deals get signed and futures get decided, Meghan and Harry no longer have any bridges left to burn. One source says, and I am quoting directly from the report, they have truly lost the plot. I hear she is spiraling badly because she knows nothing is working. The whole thing about us ever selling out is not true anymore. I do not think either of them are happy, and the source goes further. The couple's problems are actually worse than most people suspect, precisely because of Meghan's and Harry's unfortunate habit of falling out again, and again with the very people who could have helped them make a go of things financially. So let me walk you through it, name by name, fallout by fallout, because this is where the story becomes genuinely devastating. Start with Anna Wintour, the Queen of Vogue, the most powerful woman in fashion, the woman who decides who lives and who dies on the front row of every show in New York, London, Milan, and Paris. Meghan pledged her allegiance to Edward Enninful, who was at the time the editor of British Vogue, and in doing so, she alienated Anna Wintour. The irony, the beautiful, almost cosmically perfect irony, is that Meghan is also now falling out with Edward Enninful for reasons that have never been fully made public. So she backed one horse in the Vogue Wars, the horse lost, and then she fell out with the horse anyway. You could not write a more humiliating sequence of events if you tried. The source in the Boshoff report goes on to say, and I am quoting verbatim, Anna hates her. Meghan does not want to pay and never returns things. Also, Anna loves the royal family. She is a dame. Anna would have hated how the Sussexes handled their exit from the firm. Worryingly for Meghan, the famously icy Anna Wintour apparently never forgives and never forgets. The door is shut, bolted, welded, sealed. And here is the part that makes the whole thing almost surreal. Edward Enninful was actually in New York last week at a gala with King Charles. The man Meghan backed against Anna Wintour is still moving in the highest circles. He is still photographed with the king. He is still relevant. He just is not relevant to her anymore. So she picked the wrong horse, she lost the right horse, and she ended up with nothing. Don't miss a single update. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily right now. Now to Lauren Sanchez. And listen very carefully here, because this is the most catastrophic miscalculation in the entire Meghan Markle portfolio. There is plenty of chatter floating around about whether celebrities really want to be at the Met Gala because of Anna Wintour's connection to Bezos through Amazon. Trust me, Meghan Markle wants to be at the Met Gala. She wants it desperately. She looks at Lauren Sanchez, the wife of Jeff Bezos, the newly minted social queen of the entire American elite. The Mediterranean wedding, the yacht, the fashion campaigns, the full Bezos billionaire shimmer. And Meghan thinks, I want a little bit of what she has got. But here is what the Daily Mail report actually tells us. Meghan snubbed Lauren Sanchez before the Bezos wedding. The exact quote is this: Meghan was invited to things by Lauren and did not want to go. She did not want to be seen with her because she thought she was trashy. Trashy. Coming from the woman who has built her entire post-royal career on the most desperate, transparent magazine cover grift the modern world has ever seen. Calling Lauren Sanchez trashy is the kind of cosmic, jaw-dropping snobbery that has to be heard out loud to be believed. And it cost her the invitation. It cost her access to Bezos. It cost her access to the most photographed wedding of the decade. And here is the part that should make her sit upright in the night alone in that big house in Montecito. Queen Rania of Jordan was at the Bezos wedding. So was her son, Crown Prince Hussein. There may have been a royal or two more. Real royalty, working royalty, was inside that wedding. While Meghan Markle, the Duchess who once tried to redefine modern royal fame, sat in Montecito watching the photographs scroll past on her phone. Trashy was it, Meghan? Trashy was the bar that kept you out of the room where actual queens were seated. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily and stay ahead of every royal development. Now to the Kardashians. And the Kardashian situation is slightly more nuanced. But are the Kardashians over Meghan? Absolutely. The report confirms it. The Kardashians have had enough of Harry and Meghan. They are over them. If you were trying to build a lifestyle business from scratch on the back of social media, it would be enormously useful to be friends with the most followed people on the planet. But Kris Jenner has not liked a single post on Meghan's Instagram pages since last year. Not one like, not one tap. The polite Hollywood freezing has begun. And among the Kardashians, the polite Hollywood freezing is always the first move. The actual ice age comes next, and then we get to the showstopper. Nicole Avant, the wife of Ted Sarandos, the boss of Netflix, the man who personally signed the deal that was supposed to make Harry and Meghan the kings and queens of streaming content. To be fair to Sarandos, he genuinely did try to help Meghan and Harry save face. He invited them to an event for the second season of the prestige Netflix drama Beef. And yet again, it all went wrong. Pictures of Harry and Meghan from that event were removed by Getty Images 24 hours after they were published, even though Netflix itself had approved every single one of them. The theory, according to the report, is that Meghan did not like the way she appeared in those photographs. Specifically, she did not like how she looked clinging to Nicole Avant in the shots. Clinging. The word in the report is clinging. And so the pictures were yanked off Getty Images against the wishes of Netflix, the very company that had invited them in the first place. And here comes the line that should be carved on the front door of every Hollywood public relations firm in America. Nicole Avant hates her. So does Bella Bajaria, the head of content at Netflix. And the report adds carefully, so does Ted himself. The Sussex team was apparently briefing against one of the Netflix executives behind the scenes. Either way, the damage is done. Netflix knows, Sarandos knows, Avant knows, and every one of them has filed it away. The source puts it cleanly. Unless someone is of use to them with money or unwavering attention, the Sussexes always fall out with them. They are worse at dealing with people than they are at business. Hit that like button and subscribe to Royal Report Daily right now. So here is the Hollywood landscape as it actually stands tonight. The wife of Netflix? Done. The wife of Bezos? Done. The queen of Vogue? Done. The Kardashian empire? Done. The doors are not closing because of bad luck. The doors are closing because of choices. Specific, deliberate, snobbish, calculated choices that Meghan Markle made one by one over the last 6 years. And the deeper truth, the truth I want you to really sit with, is this. For 6 years since the day they walked away from the British royal family, Harry and Meghan have been broadly based in Hollywood. 6 years. 6 years of access. 6 years of opportunity. 6 years of every door in the entertainment world opening at least once for them. And what do they actually have to show for it? There is no breakthrough show. There is no breakout brand. There is no acquired, scaled business. 6 years of constantly clinging, constantly grifting off other people's planes, other people's mansions, other people's social access, other people's hard-won connections, and constantly having nothing of equivalent value to offer in return. When you are a working senior royal, you can offer access in return. You can offer the implicit weight of the institution. You can offer history and continuity and proximity to the king. But the moment King Charles came to the United States last week and Harry and Meghan were nowhere to be seen, the entire premise of their Hollywood usefulness collapsed in public. Because the unspoken theory in some Hollywood circles had always been, maybe if we get close to Harry and Meghan, we can somehow get close to the king himself. The state visit settled that question once and for all, and the answer is no. Royal Report Daily, bringing you the truth behind every royal headline. Now we pivot, because while one side of the Atlantic is watching Meghan Markle's Hollywood empire collapse in slow motion, the other side of the Atlantic just delivered something extraordinary. King Charles arrived in the United States the same week as everything I just described, and he delivered a state dinner speech that was, depending on how you choose to read it, either a tender homage to the deep historical bonds between Britain and America, or the most surgically precise public humiliation of Prince Harry in modern royal history. I think it was the second. I think the king knew exactly what he was doing. Here is what happened. The king stood at the dinner. He looked out at the gathered guests, and he began to talk about how looking at a map of the United States was for him like looking at a family Christmas card list through history. And then almost lovingly, almost playfully, he started reeling off the names. The Carolinas, Georgia, Charleston. He alluded to Annapolis. Then he talked about Prince William County. Then he talked about Williamsburg. And every single royal watcher in the room was holding their breath, waiting for the king to say Sussex County. It never came. It never came. Sussex County, a real American county with real American history, deeply tied to British settlement on the eastern seaboard, conspicuously, deafeningly, undeniably absent from the list. Not a single linguistic glance in the direction of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The names of every other quietly significant British connection were reeled out with affection, and the names connected to Harry and Meghan were quietly, deliberately, surgically left on the cutting room floor. This was not an oversight. This was a message. A deliberate, encoded, beautifully diplomatic message, delivered in front of the President of the United States, beamed around the world and dressed up as a folky, charming reminiscence about American geography. And this is the part that should be a dagger in Prince Harry's heart. His own father, his own family, is now publicly writing him out of royal history, not in a leaked memo, not in a quiet private conversation, in a speech at a state dinner in front of the President of the United States. The most permanent, most carefully curated kind of erasure there is. Don't miss a single update. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily right now. Think about what Harry could have had at this state visit if he had handled the original Megxit even half competently. He did not have to remain inside the working royal family. Nobody was demanding that. But if he had navigated the exit cleanly, with grace, with discretion, with the basic dignity expected of a former senior royal, he could have been a soft, occasional extension of the monarchy in the United States. Look at Princess Madeleine of Sweden. She lived in the United States for years. She did things on behalf of the Swedish monarchy from time to time. She lived a mostly private life. She kept the door open. She wore her American life and her royal duty together with quiet professionalism. That door, the door Princess Madeleine walked through, is the exact door Harry burned to the ground. And while one duchess in California is fighting tooth and nail for an invitation to a Met Gala that has already moved past her, the other royal family across the Atlantic is releasing video of an 11-year-old. Princess bowling at cricket in a meadow. Princess Charlotte on her birthday. Natural, warm, magnetic. Her love of animals. Her love of the outdoors. Her ease in the natural world. None of it staged. None of it forced. Just a young girl growing up under the careful watch of two parents who are quietly, methodically, brilliantly raising the future of the British monarchy. One side is desperately chasing relevance. The other side is quietly, organically generating it. And the public is watching. Very carefully. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily and stay connected. Now to the chapter where most royal commentators get the analysis catastrophically wrong. There has been mounting pressure on Prince William over recent months to reveal his tax affairs. And at the weekend, on the front page of the Sunday Times, we finally got the confirmation everyone had been waiting for. Prince William pays an income tax bill of up to £7 million. £7 million a year. That figure puts the heir to the throne in the top 0.02% of all taxpayers in the entire United Kingdom. Out of every 50,000 taxpayers in this country, William is paying more than 49,999 of them. He sits at the absolute vertiginous summit of the British Tax Contribution League table, and he has held that position quietly, without fanfare, without a press release, year after year after year. The majority of his income comes from the more than £20 million a year he receives from the Duchy of Cornwall, a private estate of land worth somewhere in the region of £1.1 billion, bestowed on every heir to the throne since the 14th century. The 14th century, when Geoffrey Chaucer was still writing poetry, when the Black Death was still in living memory, when the foundations of the modern English language were still being laid down. That is how long this estate has been quietly resourcing the heir to the throne. A Kensington Palace spokesperson confirmed that the Prince of Wales pays the top rate of income and capital gains tax, 45%, on all of his personal income, including his receipts from the duchy. He is paying every penny he owes. He is paying at the top legal rate. He is in a very literal sense one of Britain's single biggest tax contributors, and he is doing it quietly without trying to use it as a public relations weapon. That is in the end what the institution at its best is supposed to look like.